Right, glad to have you back. It's still this special edition of the morning show here on Arise News. We have Emmanuel Efeni here in the studio, our Arise in-house analyst. We've made good morning. Glad to have you. You were telling me this morning that you didn't even rain your side at all.
No.
That's strange. That's how God. That's how we know that God really does exist. We've had contact with our correspondent in ONDO State, Tokumbo Taiwo, telling us that where he is at Ijebu Owo, of course, that's where Keredolu, the incumbent, hails from, is raining. And one wonders whether that rain is going to affect the polling there.
Well, hopefully, you cannot predict the weather. Yes, we have weather readers who tell us it will rain, and sometimes it does not rain, and vice versa. But I think the determination of the ONDO voters to make their votes count will ensure that rain or shine, they will troop out to cast their vote to elect who will lead that state for the next 4 years. It's very important that voters turn out because, as we have seen in recent times, apart from the fact that not everybody collects their voter's card, we also discovered that on election day, we don't get massive turnout. And I think that is where the parties need to do some more work in terms of mobilizing the people, voter education, so that everybody can turn out. At least vast majority of people who are registered to vote can turn out on election day.
What are the factors responsible for this voter apathy? You know, if we can't identify the factors, we can't even begin to deal with this voter apathy thing. It's not just one, it's just not just two, but what are the factors responsible for this voter apathy? Because people should really, if you do not come out to vote for who you want to lead you, either at the state level, the local government level, the federal level, you really do not have any reason to begin to complain about who gets elected or about what is happening.
Yes, over time, this mentality that our votes don't count, the politicians will write whatever they want as results, has also been a major factor. But as the electoral process gets more transparent, seen to be free and fair, votes counting, then I think the citizens will have more confidence in the electoral system and will see huge turnout in future. And one of the takeaways from the Edo polls is that results being transmitted immediately using ZPad from the polling units straight to INEC website, where you can see the results real time. By the time the results they are moving to the world for collation and to the local government, the results from all the polling units are already public knowledge. So it will be very difficult to now start changing result sheets, which used to be the case. You see 10,000 turn to 100,000 on the result sheet. And you will argue over the cancellation, and it will just go on like that. But with this new introduction, adding technology and more technology to the electoral process, I think the confidence of the electorate will now be more on the process. And I think we'll see more interest, more zeal on election day going forward in future. And INEC has promised that as it was in Edo, so it will be in Ondo. Results will be transmitted from the polling units real time to INEC's website, where it can be viewed. So by the end of polling and counting at the units, the results, to a large extent, are already public knowledge.
We seem to be moving towards eliminating even ballot box snatching, because if the results are already uploaded, then it would have been a waste if you snatch a ballot. But let's talk about the candidates here. Yes. Do you consider, because India and I seem to be on different sides of this, do you consider this a 3-horse race or a 2-horse race, as India says it? And his contention is that Agbolaja, the incumbent deputy governor and the candidate of the ZLP, the Zenith Labour Party, yes, doesn't hold much sway.
Well, there's nothing like a 2.5 horse race. But let's say it's a 3-pronged race to the extent that Agbolo Ajayi, the incumbent deputy governor, and this is interesting, that I hope
you're not trying to do inclusiveness because she's a lady.
No, you know.
You better do the correct analysis.
You know, for the first time in recent memory, the governor and his deputy in office running on 2 different platforms.
Wow.
And I think this is in itself, you say kudos to the ONDO people for that political, there's a political enlightenment there, although there was an attempt to impeach the deputy governor, which did not succeed. Tells you that he is also strong political figure, strong on the ground. But where his influence will come in, he is from the Edo South.
Yeah, Southern Senatorial.
ONDO?
Yes. ONDO. Yes, Edo in our mind. He's from ONDO South.
Yes.
Where you have the Ilajes, the Arugbo Ijos, and other riverine communities. Okitipupa also in that axis. He has a stronghold there, and he is strong there. And he brought that to play in 2016 as part of the ticket. That influence is out of the Akeredolu ticket right now. But again, on the APC side, you still have strong politicians from that south, like Olushola Oke.
Oh.
Yes, who was one of the aspirants. And he was a major aspirant in 2016 when he was defeated for the party ticket by Rotimi Akeredolu. Now, the difference this time is that unlike 2016, where Olushola Oke continued licking his wound up till election day, his major benefactor or godfather, who happens to be Asiwaju, did not throw his support behind Akeredolu at that time. This time, they are with Akeredolu. So if Ajayi has taken something out of that ticket, the fact that Olushola Oke and his godfather all the way from Lagos, they are behind Akeredolu this time, it should count for something.
Good analysis.
Yes.
This is quite interesting.
So it should count for something this time around. Yes, you say, yes, Ajayi is from, but Olushola Oke is a strong politician, long-time contender who has following also in that south. So that will be brought into the table. Whether it will replace the Ajayi factor of 2016 in the Akeredolu ticket is left to be seen at the end of the day.
Is what we will yet see.
But of course, the other contender, Eyitayo Jegede, SAN, also a senior advocate of Nigeria.
I think it's a race of lawyers. They are all lawyers.
Ajayi inclusive.
The incumbent, his deputy, and Eyitayo Jegede, they are all lawyers.
Yes. Now, the fact that he is from the Central and the zoning arrangement, written or unwritten, has been the sing-song to downplay his chances. The bulk of the vote is from Central, majority of the votes across the states. Now, the fact that the former governor, Mimiko, was there for 8 years. The first governor in Ondo State to do 8 years of governorship. Yes. Then, not even Papa Ajashin did 8 years because this was truncated by the military, as we're all aware. Now, the fact that he's from Central, Mimiko, who did 8 years a few years ago, is from Central. In fact, the attempt by Mimiko to bring in Jegede was resisted. Perhaps that was why they lost also. Because they said 8 years from Central, now another 8 years for Jegede, 4 years for Jegede when we have other zones that should produce the... Then interestingly, Mimiko, also known as the Iroko, who was a major backer of Eyitayo Jegede, is holding on to his own party the Zenith Labour Party.
That's what I was going to. That's what I was going to come to.
The ticket Ajayi is using. So there is something out of the Jegede also calculation. The Mimiko factor.
Because there was an attempt to get Mimiko. I think there was even a meeting between Obasanjo and Mimiko. The carrot that was being placed before Mimiko was to get, I think, the senatorial ticket for that central. So they wanted Mimiko to get Ajayi to drop his aspiration and come into the PDP fold.
Yes.
But apparently it didn't work out.
Yes, don't forget that the first stop of Ajayi when he left the APC was the PDP.
Yes.
And it was for a reason. Either to be on the ticket or to get the ticket. But either way, they couldn't pull that through. Unlike the Edo situation where political sagacity came to play and all the PDP aspirants were able to drop their ambition for Obaseki. Nobody was ready to drop anything for Ajayi coming to the...
Because Ajayi wasn't the incumbent governor. He
wasn't an incumbent, but he's a deputy. But one would have thought that perhaps his being on the ticket will strengthen that ticket. But Eita Jegede is also regarded as a very stubborn politician sometimes. Sometimes full of himself.
Was it him that Akeredolu defeated?
Yes.
Good. So this is the second
it's a rematch.
Match. A rematch.
Yes, it was a rematch. But Eita Jegede will tell you that the last time around, they were battling intra-party problems. Up to a week, they weren't even sure who was the actual candidate of the PDP. Because Jimo Ibrahim, who arranged his own primaries, somewhere in Ibadan, and got a ticket, was holding on, assuming or presuming that he is the authentic candidate. And they went to court until a week before the election, before they were able to, the court decided that yes, indeed, is the Eita Jegede that is the authentic candidate of PDP.
Now you've brought in Jimo Ibrahim. Correct me if I'm wrong. He left PDP in ONDO State and said the party was dead without him. Am I correct?
Well, he's of the APC now. He's of the APC now.
He said PDP was dead without him.
That couldn't have been the situation because the man who is the pillar and the Iroko, again, of PDP then, who could have made that kind of claim, happens to be Mimiko. Okay. Because Mimiko was the one who left the PDP when Obasanjo was president, went to the Labour Party and won the election. So if there's anybody who can claim to be a true Iroko, it has to be Mimiko.
Why is he even called Iroko?
Because of his strength, his political reach, and of course...
and he didn't get the senatorial...
But he has shown it over time, because you know what it means to leave the PDP. When Obasanjo was the president. Go to a party that had no chance, as it were, with your structure, and you won the election. 2 times he did.
Yes. Well, we'll take a quick break and be right back to talk about the incumbent governor and candidate of the APC. Stay with us. We'll be right back.